Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm giving you an honest review of the Naturehike Cloud Up 2. This is a two-person tent that I've personally tested for over 20 nights across various terrains and weather conditions. From mountain tops to windy campsites to camping by waterfalls on hard rock, this tent has seen it all. And just to be clear, I bought this tent myself in April 2023 for £109. As of today, November 2024, it's selling for around £120 on Amazon. So let's dive in and get this set up. So this is what you get in the pack. First of all, the tent comes with its own ground sheet. It actually comes in a separate bag. You can choose whether to take it and use it or not. Personally, I put it all in the main pack and roll it all up together. This is the main inner, which we'll go through the setup shortly. This is the rain fly and outer. These are the poles that it comes with. This is a single pole with multiple brackets in order to keep the tent up. These are the pegs that it comes with. Personally, I've replaced them with these pegs. They're a little bit larger and a bit more secure, but I'm pretty sure the small ones would be fine. To keep things simple, the first thing I do when I'm setting up the tent is peg out the four corners. This tent requires 8 pegs to put it up, so I've got the 8 here. You peg out the 4 corners initially, and personally, I'll always peg out the footprint and the inner itself together. By pegging out the inner and the footprint together before you put the poles, it just means the tent doesn't move around when you're putting the poles up. Next, we get the poles on. There is a trick to these poles because they only go around in one orientation. So if you can see, there's a bend in this pole. The bend has to go by the entrance. Now you just slot these through the holes. And as soon as the last one goes in, there's enough tension everywhere to keep the tent in place. So now we've got the framework in place. It's just a very simple matter of clipping these clips onto the frame. And there we go. Next thing we need to do is put the outer over the top. And we're going to pop this straight over like that. Each of the 4 corners, there is a simple buckle which clips into the inner. Now there is one other thing you need to remember to do. Between the outer and the inner, you have to make sure you clip these 2 bits in, because when you peg this out, this now pulls the inner away from you. And here for the zipper, you see we've got 2 bits of bungee. Always use the outer one because you want to be able to open your tent door. But there are an additional 5 guy lines that you can peg out. First things first, as you can see, it's a pretty quick pitch tent, which is great for those late night arrivals at camp. It's mostly freestanding, which makes it super adaptable, especially if you're camping on challenging ground where pegging down isn't straightforward. Pitching it in the rain outer first is possible, but it's fiddly. Once you get the hang of it, it's okay, but personally, it'd have to be very heavy rain. Let's have a look inside. All right, so here are some of the key features I love about this tent. Once it's up, inside you've got plenty of room, big enough for a single camper and all of your needs. It fits even a 220 centimetre long sleeping pad, which isn't common in budget backpack tents. You can also sit up inside of it, which makes it feel spacious and comfortable. There are a couple of handy internal pockets, including one up here, and there's a hook for hanging your lantern, which is a nice touch. Outside, there's a vestibule area, which, while small, is enough to stash your boots and a few small items you'd want to keep dry, but not inside the tent. It's maybe just about big enough for a gas stove, but there's not great ventilation from the top as there's only a single zip. I think it would be difficult to cook inside this tent in the rain, and you definitely wouldn't want to put your gas stove on the inside of your tent. Personally, whenever I sleep inside a tent, I always make sure I have a knife in case something goes wrong and I need to get out of the tent from somewhere other than the main entrance. I have made a few modifications over time, which I'd recommend doing if you're planning to use this tent regularly. I've swapped out the standard pegs for something sturdier, and I've replaced the Dyneema cord that goes around the pegs with this bungee that I bought on Amazon. That Dyneema I then use on the zip out points, which makes it much easier to open and close the zips with gloves on. Okay, so let's get into some of the pros and cons of owning this tent. Firstly, the good stuff. It's quick to pitch and it's mostly freestanding. It's only the vestibule that requires additional pegs. It's very spacious. For a solo camper, if it's a large sleeping bag, and there's plenty of headroom and there's loads of room inside for your gear. The option to pitch it out of first, helpful, especially if it's raining, but it's a bit fiddly. And finally is the price. And even at £120, this is a solid choice for anyone looking to go backpacking with a reliable tent on a budget. Then there's a few cons. This is advertised a 2-person tent. No way is this a 2-person tent. It would be impossible to get 2 adults in here. Maybe 2 kids if you're camping in the garden, but for wild camping, it's better to consider this a 1-person tent. It's also not the lightest. It weighs in at 2 kilograms. There are definitely lighter options out there, but they're going to come with a much higher price tag. So who is this tent for? I'd say this is a fantastic entry-level tent for anyone looking to get into backpacking or wild camping. It's perfect for setting up in places with limited peg-out options, or you just want a tent that's quick and easy to deploy. In summary, I absolutely love this tent. It's still my go-to for quick deployment when I'm camping on tough terrain. It's not perfect, but for the price and what it offers, it's hard to beat. If you're after a reliable solo tent for backpacking, the Naturehike Cloud Up 2 is a solid choice. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this review helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you own this tent, you've got any tips or you've got any thoughts, please make sure you add them into the comments below.